So this video is going to be on solving problems involving consecutive integers. Let me ask you guys, what does the word consecutive mean? Anybody? Continuous, that's right. Okay, so yeah, if you're sick and you go to the doctor and he says, take this medication for 5 consecutive days, that means 5 days in a row. It doesn't mean that you do one pill on Monday, then you wait 2 days, and then consecutive means right next to each other in a row. So we have this first word problem. It says find 3 consecutive integers whose sum is 105. Okay, so what are 3 consecutive integers? Consecutive integers are simply numbers that are in a row, like 3, 4, 5, or like 12, 13, 14, right? We want 3 consecutive integers whose sum, now what does sum mean? That you're adding, okay? And you add them and the answer is 105, negative 105. So this is the bottom line. We have 3 numbers, and I'm going to put these in parentheses. We have one number plus another number plus another number. And the answer should be negative 105. Negative 105. So this is an algebraic problem we want to create. Okay. Now, whatever that first number is, like let's say we know the answer is going to be negative, so I need to be adding a bunch of negative numbers. So give me a guess. Anybody? Give me a negative number right here. Anybody? Negative 4. Okay, so if this is negative 4, then this one might be negative 3, and this one might be negative 2. Those are consecutive negative numbers that are right next to each other, right? But if I add negative 4 plus negative 3 plus negative 2, that's not going to give us negative 105. So the bottom line is we don't know this first number. So I'm going to label that first number x. Okay? Now, whatever this first number is, whether it's a negative 10 or let's even say like it could be 10, right? Positive 10. The next one's going to be 11, right? So the next one's actually going to be that same number x, but plus 1. And the next number consecutive, if this was 10, this is 11, this is 12. So if this is 10, this is 10 plus 1, this is going to be 10 plus 2 over here. Okay? And this is true for negative numbers as well. So if this is negative 20, then this is going to be negative 19, and this is going to be negative 18, because x is negative 20. But the bottom line is I don't know that this is negative 20. That's why I put x. The next number would be x plus 1, the next number x plus 2, right? So this is an equation that requires simplification. Now, what is simplification? It's either distributive property or combining like terms. And as you can see, there's nothing to distribute from the outside of the parenthesis to the inside. So in a sense, you could ignore those parentheses. And what do we really have? We have x plus 1 plus x plus 2 equaling negative 105. So there is no distributive property, but there is combining like terms. I could combine this x with this x. That's a total of 2 x's. 1 more x is a total of 3 x's. And then I could also combine the plus 1 with the plus 2. Combine like terms 1 and 2 is a total of 3. So on the left side of my equal sign, I have 3x plus 3. On the right side, I still have the negative 105. So what we have here is this red equation that could be solved. So now we get to finally solve this equation. Let's get x by itself. Do I get rid of this 3 first or that 3? The second 3 first, the one that's without the variable. So we're going to get rid of that 3 by going to minus 3, minus 3. That will give us, this cancels out, 3x equals negative 108. So for my final step, I'm going to divide by 3, and with the calculator, we get x equals negative 36. Now, keep in mind that the question originally asks for 3 numbers. And so far, right here, I just have 1 number. What is happening? My bad. So again, we want 3 numbers, and this first number is x, and x is negative 36. So the first number is negative 36. The next number is consecutive to it, negative 35, and the next number is consecutive right after that, right next to it, negative 34. So these are the 3 numbers that if you add up will give you negative 105. The important part here is to be able to create this equation. Let's try another. It says find two consecutive odd integers. Okay, this is a little different. Two consecutive odd integers whose sum is 116. Once again, the word sum means add, and we're going to be adding two numbers. But whatever those two numbers are, they have to be consecutive odd integers, which means like if this is 3, this has to be 5. Odd numbers, right? 1, 3, 5, 7, 11, or 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. All the numbers that are not divisible by 2. And when I add them together, it should equal 116. Okay, so give me an odd number. Anybody? Odd number. 5? Okay, so 5 plus 7. 5 plus 7, is that 116? No, give me another odd number. 3 plus 5, is that 116? No, right? So you could start guessing and checking, but the bottom line is, like, let's say this was 5. What's the next odd number? So if this is 5, the next odd number is 7, right? So if this is 13, the next odd number is what? 15. If this is 15, what's the next odd number? 17. If this is 23, what's the next odd number? 25, right? Whatever this number is, the next one's going to be 2 units after it, or 2 numbers after it. Like, let me just, like this is, if this is 5, this is going to be a 5 plus 2, which is 7. Does that make sense? Yes. If it's a 7, if this first number is a 7, then the next number is going to be 9, which is 7 plus 2. All right? Or let's say if this first number is, let me go for a bigger odd number, let's say 51. No, the next odd number is going to be 51 plus 2, which is 53, right? So whatever odd number this is, this one's going to be that same odd number plus 2. So with that rationale, we're going to say that we don't know that first odd number. So let's put an x right there. And the next odd number will be simply x plus 2. Okay? And this is an equation that could be solved. There is no distributive property. There is combining like terms. So because there's no distributive property, we could rewrite it without parentheses. And we could combine the x plus x, which is a total of 2 x's, bring down the 2, equals 116. And then we solve it the way we normally would, subtract 2. We end up with 2x equaling 114. Final step would be to divide by 2. Divide by 2. Hey Siri, what's 114 divided by 2? It is 57.
It's 57.
Thank you. So we know that our first number is 57. The first odd number is 57. So if the first one's 57, the next one has to be 57 plus 2, which would be 59. So these are the 2 consecutive odd numbers whose sum is 116. By the way, on this particular question on the practice test, they don't even ask for the answers. They ask for you to select the appropriate equation. So this would be the appropriate equation to select.
Okay, that's going to be on the test.
So you look through all your multiple choice answers and just pick this one. Last one on this video, find 3 consecutive even integers. Okay, so we want 3 numbers, 1 plus another one plus another one equals, it says the sum is 138, so it equals 138. And it just doesn't say 3 consecutive numbers, it says consecutive even numbers. So what are even numbers? 2, 4, 6, 12, 14, 16, right? So whatever this first even number is, the next one, actually, let's actually just write down any even number. Give me any even number. Anybody? Any even number.
10.
10. So what would the next even number be? After 10. the next even number would be 12, right? Which would be 10 plus 2. And the next even number after 12 would be 14, which is 10 plus 4. Does that make sense? Okay, so we don't know that the first even number is 10. As a matter of fact, we're just going to say x because we don't know what that first even number is. So I'm going to replace all of those 10s with x's. And there's my setup. Whatever this first even number is, whether it's 10, then 10 plus 2 is 12. The 10 plus 4 is 14. That gives me 10, 12, 14. Those are 3 consecutive even integers, right? It could be 50 plus 52 plus 54, right? So I have it set up right. Now I'm just going to solve it. I check for distributive property. There isn't any. I check for combining like terms. There is. Of course, because there's no distributive property, I could rewrite the whole thing without parentheses. And let's combine like terms here. I have 1x, I have 2x's, I have 3x's. 3x's, I also have a plus 2 and a plus 4, which is a total of plus 6. So the left side of my equal sign is totally simplified to 3x plus 6. I'm going to bring down the equals 138, and I'm going to continue to solve by subtracting 6. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. I have a new equation that reads 3x equals 132. And for my final step, I'm going to get rid of the multiplication of 3 in front of the x by dividing by 3. Hey Siri, what's 132 divided by 3?
The answer is 44.
The answer is 44. So x is my first even integer. So x is my first even integer. So my first even number is 44. The next even number would be 46, and the one after that would be 48. These are the 3 consecutive even integers whose sum is 138. If I go 44 plus 46 plus 48, that will give me the answer 138. All right, I hope this video helps.